training and teaching a dog to do a scavenger hunt or Easter egg hunt. The benefit of this is that we take the dog and allow them to decide what is comfortable for themselves, not pushing them so hard into these uncomfortable situations or in places that might make them nervous, but keeping them feeling confident and feeling in control of their own decisions and their own environment. That's the beauty of playing this game. So the first thing that we have to do is set up the game. This was one of our first days in Board and Train. I wanted to make sure that the hides or the Easter eggs were very obvious. So I did go ahead and use this as her lunchtime meal break exercise. And I did that in small little dishes, and I broke her lunch up into all these little tiny dishes and placed those out in the yard. Because I don't have a fenced yard to allow her to just go wander, I had to maintain or stay with her so that I could establish where the boundaries of our game was going to lie. So first thing I did was set up those Easter eggs, go out and hide them, scatter them about. As your dog gets better at this, you can stretch them into closer and closer areas where maybe they haven't explored before, or make the hides harder for them as time goes on. Of course, this was our very first time, so I made it super easy. Everything was just pretty much right in plain sight. I didn't try to actually hide the Easter eggs, but this game can kind of reach its max when dogs start looking for the bowls instead of actually using their nose. So the goal here is that they should be using their nose. I know this was effective for this particular dog because I could see her using her nose, and that's how she was finding the hides. But if you're noticing that your dog is relying on their eyesight to find those, then you will want to make and get more creative about how you make those hides and or where you put them, to encourage them to use their nose more than their eyesight. This is really critical. By using their nose, we're getting them into or getting them out of fight or flight, out of panic, and we're getting them into a very working, thinking, cognitive mindset. It's also very calming. It's much like breath work for a dog. So nose work is just really, really an incredible tool that helps reduce anxiety in our dogs. So we lay out the hides, then we bring them to the edge of our working zone or our training zone or the game's sort of borders. And that's where we give them the cue to go look. So search, seek, find it, whatever cue you want, just make it crisp, clean, and then let the leash go or let the dog go. All right, we got her leashed. She's already trying to go out the door. Ready? Search. Let's go. Good. So sometimes I'll hold the dog's collar, and just for a moment, here's one little rule is do not ask the dog to do something before releasing them. So don't ask them to sit, don't ask them to down. And really, I wouldn't even ask for much of a look at me. I want them pushing forward and finding that thing. So I just want to let them go as quickly as possible. Only holding them momentarily to kind of say, this is the boundary. Beyond this, you will be searching. You will be working. And so you'll stop them at that boundary only to establish that there is a boundary there and then release. And then from then on, I just use the leash as a means of keeping her within my training space that I had kind of designated in my brain. If it's helpful, set up some like rocks or cones or something of that nature. So establish where you want to be, hide your Easter eggs, and then make sure you give the dog the cue. And then from then on, you are just a bystander. You are just there to watch and observe and see what your dog does. So enjoy this game. I hope that you play it every day. It's a great exercise. Twice is what I'd usually recommend, is that don't play it more than twice, and that's with many hours in between. So if you're playing in the morning and playing in the evening, great. All right, I think she's about done with her first dish. So see if she'll keep looking. There she goes, the second one. Nice. So now we'll let her eat the second one and then see where she chooses next. They've got two dishes sort of near each other. And we'll see if she
chooses something more. Ooh, it's an Easter egg hunt. Remember that all I'm doing is just standing here supervising. I have no other use than that. If I had a fenced yard, I would just do this in the backyard, let her out, and then like watch her through a window. So this is intended to be kind of a solo activity. It's not, we're not doing anything other than giving the initial search cue and then letting her do the rest. And because we're not doing like actual searches, this is just scavenger hunts, and she's just really looking for the bowls of food. So it's a little different than like an actual hide. Good. Keep that leash really loose. Nice. Good girl. All right, we have 2 more. Whoever said you needed big dishes to feed a big dog? They lied to you. Interesting. So she was rechecking one she already finished. That's one she already finished. She's yet to see this one over here. And back to the one she already finished. So I'm going to keep her within the circle here. She's distracted by chickens. Watching the goat. See if she'll come back. So I want to keep her in the circle. She's allowed to check once she's already checked. Again, once she's already checked. She is not very creative. Wow, she really gets stuck in a pattern here. Nope, we're gonna stop her right there. I'm hoping that this has enough battery to get us through to the end of this. Now she's checking me. I don't have anything for her. I'm gonna hold her here. Deep breaths, because it's very, very tempting to try and pull her along. Could maybe create a little vibration on the leash just to break her focus, but otherwise she keeps checking the same 3 ones. So she keeps catching a scent. So interesting. So she keeps catching a scent, but she keeps ending up at that bowl. Oh, she walked right by that bowl. That's so strange. Oh, we're not going any further. So keep them in the training space. I got nothing. No. Ah. She didn't realize there was more. I couldn't tell you why she did it that way. That's okay. It's part of the beauty of doing this. There is no wrong answers. If she was not hungry, maybe she's just choosing to ignore those bowls. The one bowl over there furthest away might be that it's closer to the dogs that are barking, which might be freaking her out, but that's part of this sort of game, is just to get her to investigate her environment, but do so with some focus, which is finding food. Back to check another one. She still has one more bowl. She wants check that one. We'll let her check it. Checking that bowl again. So I'm going to keep kind of pushing her this way. Ah, she discovered there was one more. There we go. So very, very subtly, I'm standing closer and closer to the bulls she's missing, but that's it. I'm not dragging her there. I'm not pointing at them. I'm not continuing to talk to her and be like, go find it. You can do it. You know, like, I don't want her attention on me. I want her attention on the ground. I want her to be thinking on her own. This is a very independent exercise. It's a solitaire game. It's not a game that we're playing together. It's a game she's playing by herself. So I want her to be able to do that on her own and make her own decision about where she wants to look and how she wants to look. All I'm doing is keeping her within the parameters of the game. So just not allowing her to move so far away that she's nowhere near them and she wouldn't pick up the scent. So I want her to still be able to discover those things, those bowls that she hasn't discovered yet, but I don't want to put her in a position where she's too far from that. So we keep her within the training space that you've sort of designated, however big that is. It can be a very small space. That you don't need a big yard to play this game. I mean, a living room would work just fine. And we have the male person here. But anyhow, so that's kind of it. Disrupting her eating. But keep her within the training space.